Hello, I am Margaret Miller, and welcome to the world of Strips That Sizzle. This is a block that I developed many years ago and have found it to be a wonderful way to learn about value and color almost in spite of yourself. This is a block that you make really quickly. There's no agonizing about fabric choices, and the quilt emerges as you play with the block on the wall. This is what your triangles look like after you have put your strips together. You've cut out the square and you have cut the diagonal. And remember, you now have a stack of these ready to sew triangle pairs in to the left of your sewing machine or wherever it's convenient for you. Remember that these are in ready to sew pairs, so you don't need to line anything up. If you prefer to pin, you can. The more you do this, I think you'll find that you don't even need to pin. But if you're more comfortable pinning, I recommend thin pins rather than thicker ones because that distorts the bias less. So we go to the sewing machine. Again, you want to use a consistent 1/4 inch seam. That's very important. Put on glasses, and then that helps also. Remember the trick I told you about using a pin to kind of encourage the top fabric toward the presser foot. That's another important technique when you're sewing bias seams.
Now we're going to experiment with some different fabrics. Let's try something with a little bolder design, but we'll stay in the same color families and the same value range. Go to the Libraries menu and choose Fabric Library. Now choose some fabrics that you know are in the range of what you've already used in the quilt, but something with a little more pattern. Add them to your sketchbook and click Close. Welcome to the Strips That Sizzle trunk show. Strips That Sizzle is an amazing technique designed by Margaret Miller. In EQ6, the technique really comes to life because you have the ability to change your block colors and design wall arrangements with ease. The first step is color families, and understanding value. These next few blocks show some color combination in the Strips That Sizzle blocks, all going from light to dark or from dark to light in value.
For our trunk show, we are going to present a few quilts that were special in my development as a Strips That Sizzle quilt maker. And this particular quilt is one of the very earliest ones that I made. As a matter of fact, I made the center of this quilt and traveled with it as I taught Strips That Sizzle for many years. And then as my nieces and nephews grew up, I found something possessed me to promise each of them a graduation quilt as they graduated from high school. So I have 9 nieces and nephews. At this recording, I am 2 graduation quilts behind, but they are very special quilts to make. I usually use a technique like easy pieces to make the blocks in the first place because they are so much fun to make and there are so many possibilities as to what you can do with them. It makes such a connection between me and that young person. And these are all people that live 3,000 miles away on the other side of the country. So it is quite a connect that I'm making with the child as I'm doing the quilt. It's also been interesting to keep a listing of all the words and phrases I have put on these quilts, and that list now numbers about 244 entries.
Have you got them? Yes, you do.
Yet more, whoops, I started too soon.
You did.
I'm properly chastised. Yet more simple variations on the blocks that you have on the In this traditional interpretation of the log cabin pattern, streak of lightning, it's not, again, forget it.
There we go.
Yeah.
Finally. So this is 1-0 take 2.